Hey everybody, welcome back to Laptop Seniors. Today we're going to go through a drive and show you Vistamar. We're going to go exploring again. Vistamar is not very far from Coronado. I think the actual people that live in Vistamar, I think just to be easy, you know, when somebody says, hey, where do you live? They say Coronado, but they mean the Coronado area. It would be probably the same for San Carlos, although that's a little bit farther out, and that's another video that we are going to be doing separately from this one. But this one is on Vistamar. Now, I just want to mention a few things before we go through it. I'm going to take this video and do it a little differently than the other ones because we found that some people really like the long drives and they like where they can see everything about a place, and others want to just, get to it. Don't waste my time driving around. Let me just see, the main areas, and that's fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you times on the screen, and they're going to be right over here. We're going to start out in Coronado, and we're going to be on the Pan American Highway, and then we're going to show you that, and we're going to drive to Vistamar, at which point this time will pop up, okay? So you know that, all right, if you want to just jump ahead to where we go into Vistamar, the complex, because it is a sort of a closed complex, so, there's people at the gates and all that sort of stuff. And, okay, then we're going to be in. And then there's going to be another jump where we're kind of pretty much down by the restaurant, and also the Marina, which is a separate thing, so that'll be another time up here. And then after that, we're going to drive around and see amazing looking homes. This is a really beautiful complex, and it's really large, and great homes, and there's different pockets of different types of homes in different areas that, we'll show you, we'll talk about, and all that sort of stuff. So if you want to jump ahead to any of these things, just, take a look at the numbers on the screen. Those would be the times of where they are. One of the things that I found, which is why we initially left the long drive in, is that, boy, when you watch the long drive, you really get a feel for an area and what you would be getting yourself into if you wanted to live there or wanted to go there and check it out. It's just not a highlight section. You pretty much see everything, good and bad, up and down, and what it all is. That's what we're going to do. Now, let's just get on the highway and get this done. I want to tell you a little bit about what you're about to see. And one thing that you're going to see is you're going to hear us talking over ourselves, because when we have mics on in the car, we're picking up things of our conversation, and they tend to be kind of a low volume. And, sometimes it's not easy to hear what we're saying, because they weren't really meant to be heard to begin with. The other thing is what's coming up at the top of this hill. You see that top of the hill with the white structures there, and now the fence on the right with white buildings behind it? This is a new community here. Now I'm going to show you the price of these, because these are new houses, a new build, and this is what they cost. $125,000. That's the starting price. You see these things across Panama as we drove from one end to the other on the Pan American Highway, and they range from usually somewhere around $85,000, $88,000 as a starter home, up to somewhere around $135,000 to $140,000. That seems to be the price range depending on what town it's outside of. So here it was $125,000. Maybe outside of, say, Santiago or Chitre, it would be maybe a little higher or a little less. Probably around Boquete, it's definitely going to be on the higher end. Other times I definitely saw it, and I don't remember where. I think it was Penanome, somewhere around in there. The sign would say like $88,000. That's for a brand new home. So if you can't have a home and you want to retire in the United States and you think, where else can I go? Boy, you can have a home, like a new home here in Panama, for way less than it would be in North America.
Use the left lane to turn left.
The other thing is that you can't tell how much the speed is right here, but typically the highest speed driving across Panama on this highway, it's like 80 kilometers an hour, which is around 48 miles per hour. So you're going pretty slow. There's not a lot of cars. It tends to be very safe to drive in Panama, almost anywhere other than Panama City. And even Panama City is not all that bad, and we'll talk about that, probably in another video. But for on the highway like this, if you're thinking about renting the car and seeing the country, no problem.
Vistamar. Turn left.
Correcto.
1.6 kilometers. Turn right.
Just a reminder that one of the things that we always do when we're going into a closed community like this, where they may or may not let you in, is to get a reservation at the restaurant, assuming they have one. That's always ideal. You get a reservation, then when you show up at the gate and they, hey, what do you want? What are you doing here? You go, reservation at the restaurant. Oh, okay, go ahead. That's pretty much what always happens, as you'll see.
Talk to the guy. I don't know the restaurant name. Buenas tardes.
¿Ha reservado de Ticana?
Un documento para el ingreso del vehículo solamente. Un ID.
Sí.
Okay.
Is that a golf course over there? Man, it's burnt out. Wow.
You can see the dash line here starting from the gate, and this is the path that we're taking right down to the beach.
Is that where we're going?
Yeah. So let's just drive right down to the marina first.
I don't know where
The restaurant doesn't open till 1. Boga Bar is at the marina.
Right now we're kind of going by the golf course. This is sort of the brunt of where you see the golf course when you drive in. It's on the left and on the right. I know when we were driving, because obviously we're doing this after the fact, Viv, you were talking about that there wasn't a lot of trees on the course and it looked a lot burnt up. As you can see, it's pretty brown, the grass here, but it also looked like a really nice course.
Yeah, definitely, but the greens look good. You can see the greens are green and looked after, so I guess it's just the fairways.
Yeah, now if you're a golfer, you're probably wondering, okay, what's the green fees? Tell me.
I know.
Seems to be 55 to 60 bucks a round, although Viv saw something where you said it was less than that?
I heard that there's a 1 day a week where you can book for $30, 18 holes with the card. So that sounds pretty good.
Yeah, that's a nice bargain. Now, one of the things you're going to see on this particular drive as we're going from the front gates, where we were talking about the restaurant with the guy, trying to get in, from there to the water, this is a huge amount of land area. This could be a major city. Yeah, because we're going to ride and ride and ride and ride and ride before we get down to the water. And we're going to go by different types of housing communities, some condos, some, as you see, 4-story things, others, they're single-family homes, probably medium cost, and then around the end we're going to get to ones where they're like mondo cost.
The 2 condo towers that are coming up are the Las Olas Towers, and I believe they were built in 2007 and 2010. So they've been there for a few years, but they look really well built and beautiful, and they have their own amenities like pools and so on in the condo area, as well as they have the community's amenities. Those condos right now are going for somewhere between $200,000 for a 2-bed, 2-bath, and I even saw $1.8 million for a 3-story, 5-bed, 5-bath condo in that building.
A lot of different things to do in this area. We're going to be coming up and we're going to pass tennis courts here, and obviously there's golf, there's boating at the marina. There's a lot of different things to do. This complex sort of, to me, was sort of like Playa Blanca, except with way more things to do if you live here, and it clearly is more upper end than Playa Blanca. This is the restaurant, so we're going to pass by that and go down to the marina and check that out, and then we're going to come back up to the restaurant.
Right, and we will show you the Tikanon restaurant, but unfortunately, guys, I have heard that it's closed since we were there.
Yeah, that's too bad too, because it was a really good restaurant. I mean, the food was spectacular and huge, way larger, as you'll see, than what we thought we were ordering.
Right, so this is the Spit heading out to the marina. So you can actually drive out here, as you saw that truck in front of us.
We should have just parked up there and walked.
You're going to hear Viv start to yell about Uteberg, Sweden, and it's going to be pretty interesting because her mom lived in Uteberg, Sweden for a while, and one of the boats.
Uteberg.
Whatever.
That boat says Uteberg. It's from Sweden. Rotterdam. I think it's fascinating to see boats from all over the world here. This is no minor little marina. They can host about 240 boats here at one time. I bet the docking fees and the diesel prices are also lower here than being right in Panama City. Look at the views. The coastal views just sitting out here at the marina by the Boca Bar are stunning.
So this is the restaurant.
They have a gorgeous big terrace for the restaurant, but clearly it was too hot to be sitting out there in the sun.
I thought what we were ordering were going to be small little plates. They were anything but. Way too much food. Okay, let's get into the housing section of this. That's what this whole section is going to be, the different types of housing. One, obviously, this one is standalone houses. And, these are not small, but they're not really huge like the other ones you're about to see.
And this was like sort of a subdivision type community area right here. Then we'll show you some other types of communities. So and these are all in Vistamar, but they've really sectioned it off in an interesting way.
Yeah, and they tend to be pretty far away from each other. Probably not because people aren't building there or that type of reason. It's because this is a massive, massive land area. This is a huge area and pretty neat topography, up and down, hills and non-hills, surrounded by golf courts. It's a really beautiful area, as you'll see as we go through it.
Yeah, it looks like they built this community with some really good infrastructure right from the start. The roads are great. There are lots of palm trees on the boulevards and along the roadways. And I love that, as you know. I don't like seeing clear-cut areas when new communities are built. So it's nice that this has a good foundation to begin with. But I definitely see lots of empty lots that have not been purchased or built on.
I mean, look out on the horizon how far that was. Big landmass.
Right, and it goes all the way from the Pan American Highway down to the ocean, which is quite a good stretch.
These are those two high-rises that you saw way off in the distance as we started to drive in.
Pretty nice sized balconies.
Yeah, they're pretty. They were really nice. They looked great. Everything here really looks really nice. And it should, because it costs more. You know, usually you get what you pay for.
I wonder if people look after their own maintenance in here or whether the community does that.
Probably the community.
The landscaping, I mean.
Here's another community.
So there's this little group of homes right here.
Here?
Right here, yeah. So you can actually just make a U-turn because you can see everything right from here. This is all there is. This little loop there, and a little loop there, and that's it. That's it. That's it. That's all there is right here. Then go out to the left.
It's kind of nice. Kind of cool. Got a little leafy swell.
Now we're going to head down to the water.
Yeah, isn't it Dubai that sort of has sort of a palm tree shape of streets that they built right out into the ocean?
Yeah, spokes, yeah.
This isn't out in the ocean, but it's a similar kind of design.
Mm-hmm. And, you know, you saw one on the left. This is another one on the right, a different type of housing. And as we start to go down the hill over here, you can maybe just barely see the ocean out in front of us. And look there on the right, a helicopter pad. So you know these houses that are coming up, they got some cash. These are expensive homes, and the closer they get to the water, the bigger they get and the more expensive they get. I'm going to ride in a little bit into a couple of these, and just so you get a feel for what they are. But this was an awesome area to be in.
So all of the streets here are actually built on terrazas. Each street is a higher elevation than the street in front of it towards the ocean. Each row of housing is going to have their own ocean views. That's amazing planning, if you ask me.
Yeah, you can see that happening right here. I mean, you look at the one on the bottom and the one on the top, they got a clear shot over the other house right out to the ocean. Full view. And these are big homes and big lots.
Here's one that looks like it had been started and stopped because I don't see any construction evidence of anything currently going on there.
Yeah, here's another one coming up. The thing we don't know is, you know, do people build houses like this in stages? You know, they do a chunk that can stand weather, like the cement part, and then later when they get more money, they finish it off farther. I'm not sure how Panamanians, you know, companies would be building houses. Do they, you know, they catch up when they have the money, or they do it all at one shot?
Well, you know, I never thought of that, and I'm sure there are a lot of wealthy people in Panama City that have these as their cottage or their summer home. And
Look at this thing, yeah.
yeah, so maybe they do build them in stages as they have more money to afford finishing.
Yeah, could be. Or they ran out of money and, that was the end of it. No way to know. These are big homes, though. I mean, these are monsters.
And beautiful.
And these are not on the water yet. They get even bigger as we go down one final rung.
The depth of the lots on this particular terrace is huge. I mean, they've got the whole length from the road to the next
Drop off.
drop off. Thank you.
Okay, let's make this turn and we'll go down to the ones that are right on the ocean. Obviously, they have the prime lots. They have the biggest lots. They have the biggest houses. These are millions of dollar homes. These are like estates. Some of them have like 2 or 3 homes clumped into one section of land.
Like, look at all the structures right there on that one lot.
Yeah, like the one on the left there is like the Corleone family going into the complex, and they close the gates.
Like, there could easily be 5 houses on that one lot alone. I imagine there's probably the big house on the street and then some sort of a courtyard, maybe pools, a pool house, cabana, then a bunkie for guests. Like, who knows? It could be all kinds of things on there.
This looks like a military installation coming up with the wall there. I mean, that's how big that thing is.
Yeah, and that shows the difference of height from one level to the next. And I'll bet they have height restrictions on buildings so they don't impede the view of the people on the next street.
Probably, yeah. Makes sense. Although that would have to be like a 5-story home.
Although those palm trees have gotten pretty big. Look how tall some of them are. It's interesting that we're not seeing any bars on the windows here. These people obviously feel very safe, although there were security cameras and different things that we spotted on the homes. And why not? They're so available today. Why not?
Yeah, and it's a secure complex because of the people at the gate. Plus, it's Panama. Panama's safer. When we make the turn here and start heading back up the hill, you're going to see much clearer why everybody has a view on each level. It becomes more evident going up than it does coming down.
I just love these palm tree lined boulevards on the roadways.
One of the things that you're probably getting a sense of in here is that you pretty much need a car if you're going to be living here, almost anywhere in here. I mean, I can't fathom walking from the big houses all the way to the front gate.
Absolutely true. And there's not a single grocery store that we spotted around here.
As we mentioned, Vistamar, just outside of Coronado, it's a really nice complex. There's some gorgeous homes in there, and a lot of space, and a golf course, and a marina. I mean, you know, if you're one of those people that this is clearly an upper end complex type thing, you know, housing development area. It's, you know, definitely upper end. But if you like golf and you got yourself a boat and stuff like that, man, you're set for life here. This is a fantastic area. So I hope that helps you to get a feel for what it's like, and you know, it helped you out in maybe making the decision as to whether you want to go there and look at it. As always, if you like the video, hit the like button. Also hit over here, that bell, that will notify you when we do out a new video. And you know, you'll get it in an email or something where it's like, hey, new video, watch. And if you haven't subscribed already, that would be awesome too. Until the next video, thanks for watching. See ya.